Hi guys, this is Mark back with you, ready for episode number 11 of season 11 of Next Top Singer. So if you're watching this on Twitch live or on YouTube on demand, then thank you very much for joining me for this one. All these 20-minute videos seem to be running for an hour, hour and 20, no matter what I do. I am running out of days to try and get all this done before I disappear off for 3 weeks, where I won't have the opportunity to record these. And the deliberation episode is an hour long, so fun. I don't know how I'm going to fit all this in, but we'll try. We push on. We move.
Nice to see you again. We are still in the midst of our Indie or Inspirational round, so let's see some more entries.
Oh, le vent souffle fort dans la rue froide et sombre ce soir. Tous les gens, je les voyais danser au rythme des guitares et les gars vont draguer les filles les plus stylées. Pendant la jeunesse agitée, va loin pour se poser. Le son des chansons monte, chaque meilleure que la précédente. Et je chante des chansons, je pense que c'est ça la vie. Tous ces rythmes dans la tête, je les ai le jour et la nuit. Mais où allons-nous chanter? Où allons-nous chanter ce soir? Et je chante mes chansons, je pense que c'est ça la vie. Tous ces rythmes dans la tête, je les ai le jour et la nuit. Mais où allons-nous chanter? Où allons-nous chanter ce soir? Moi ce que je veux c'est la scène, partout, dans toutes les villes. Non je veux plus chanter dans cet exil. Donnez-moi ces moments-là que j'ai attendu tant de fois. Moi ce que je veux c'est entendre vos voix un peu fébriles, écrire des histoires indélébiles. Mais où allons-nous chanter? Où allons-nous chanter ce soir? Et je chante des chansons, parce que c'est ça la vie. Tous ces rythmes dans la tête, je les aime le jour et la nuit. Mais où allons-nous chanter? Où allons-nous chanter ce soir? Et je chante des chansons, je pense que c'est ça la vie. Tous ces rythmes dans la tête, je les aime le jour et la nuit. Mais où allons-nous chanter? Où allons-nous chanter ce soir? Où a-t-on chanté ce soir?
Okay, just going to have a listen to the original, because this reminds me of another song, and I don't know what... microphone and then increasing the gain if you have to get your level up. The volume is too low on a number of the parts, making the phrase completely unintelligible. I probably need to put an "un" in front of that or it doesn't make sense. Unintelligible. I think the breathiness, it's a stylistic choice, but it's detracting too much away from the performance because it's not allowing you to deliver the phrases in the right way. It's one of those, it had potential to be a very high-scoring entry because there is some lovely sweet tone mixed in there, but there are a number of flaws. I guess if I'm not raising a big issue with pitch, is 4 a bit harsh? No, probably not. Probably not. Because I think we've got production, we've got dynamic issue in that the dynamic goes too soft, we've got clarity of phrase. Yeah, let's go 4.5.
Wipe away the stains of salty tears, mementos of those wasted years. Strike a magic, burn the page. I guess it's true you learn with age. I bear all of these scars that have become my everything. You see, I'm beautiful and broken. I bear all of these scars that have become my everything. You see, I'm beautiful and broken. I am only human with my feeble dreams and paper skin. I'll break apart like porcelain. Strip me down to just the bones. Fragile whispers, broken tones. All these scars that I have worn are nothing when I'm only bones. My beautiful and broken bones. I'm beautiful and broken.
Dynamic mid phrase is effective. Okay, I am going to asterisk this score as one to go back to and think about at a later point. I'll probably have to go through and tweak some of these anyway in terms of just nailing down a top 30 for me. I wonder if that score, is a little on the high side, but we'll see. So for me in general, we've got another original, so that makes it difficult when there is not a big build-up chorus, and this song doesn't really have that. From what I can tell, but it does build into a nice sort of middle part, which I enjoy, where the harmonies come in. So it doesn't quite have the same punch and power that I would have liked, but there is clearly something there. So vocal too low in the mix. While we're not comparing to an original, some of the final notes of those low runs at the beginning seems like they fall a little flat. I'd like those to be lifted a little more, and some of the later runs, they sound a bit unsupported, so I think that might be where the problem is coming from. But the higher harmonies are beautiful with a wonderful sustain. Maybe they are a little more in your wheelhouse, and I love the use of dynamic mid-phrase, kind of subtle, in control, where the volume kind of starts and then dips down a little bit and then builds up again, really adds drama. And that's one of those sort of intangible things that you don't always notice, but they make such a difference. This is more for guitar than it is for vocal, but the same thing can apply and does apply when you look at things from a production standpoint. When you're dialing in guitar pedals and that sort of thing, there are things like a vibrato pedal or like a chorus pedal, where you might dial something in that is very subtle just to add a little bit of vibrato, which is basically a up and down movement, or a bit of a tremolo effect, which is much the same. We just dip the volume. And then in doing that, it just introduces a little bit of movement into the piece and makes it a little more interesting. Super subtle. But when you can do that with your voice without needing to add the effects into it, then that is a wonderful thing. Moonjo got a 6.5 for me last time out, so I've dipped a little bit on that from the 6 due to a few issues of unsupported notes and those flat spots. I think just going along with the production thing as well, with the vocal being too low in the mix, there were certain ways I maybe would have rebalanced the high harmonies, just so that they are not tripping over each other as much. Let's see. Let's listen to it one more time.
Paper skin, I'll break apart like porcelain.
So I would have liked that to have stayed, not dropped off so much, because it kind of warbles, and I think it's just lack of support there.
Strip me down to just the bones. Fragile whispers, broken tones. All these scars that I have worn.
So this sounds way more in her wheelhouse than some of the lower parts, and then there is a incredible sort of backing vocal in it. I noticed in the credits it said some backing vocals by someone else, which is an against the rules thing. We probably need to figure out which ones are yours and which ones aren't.
I'm nothing when I'm only yours.
That's another sort of lower phrase that sort of tails off, falls off. I'd like that to have been held up a little more.
My beautiful and broken bones. I'm beautiful and broken.
Yeah, okay. I think I like my score. Elton John, Risky. See how this works out.
You can never know what it's like. Your blood like when it freezes just like ice. And there's a cold, lonely light that shines from you. You'll wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got a taste for love in a simple way. And if you need to know, well, I'm still standing. You just fade away. Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did? Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. And I am still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. Once I never could have hoped to win. You're starting down the road, leaving me again. The threats you made were meant to cut me down. And if our love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. You know I am still standing better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. And I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah,
Okay, this is a tough one. And it's trying to figure out how to... have I unmuted the mic? Yeah, I have. So this is a tough one. And I tell you what, I haven't... There we go. I haven't brought up the right browser tab. So you'll be looking at a blank screen for best part of 15 minutes. Apologies for that. We've fixed it in the end. This one is going to sound a little harsh if I can't word it correctly, and I think that's going to be a problem. So, score. 5 for me. It's okay. Generally, it's very nasal. A number of the phrases are stifled and don't come out clean. They're difficult to sort of understand as a result. The timing at a point is a little rushed. And there is very little dynamic, and there's a lack of bottom end or chest voice, and it all sort of links in together. So you are very head voice heavy, which pushes you in a certain direction. So there is some nasality there potentially, which is perhaps a little unavoidable. Because of that, and you're not really pushing from anywhere, you haven't got a whole lot of difference in your volume and your dynamic. You're kind of limited in where you can go. And you're kind of throwing yourself up to get those notes, and it's not leaving yourself a lot in the tank to really power through into the big chorus part. So this doesn't give you a great opportunity to show off the range of your voice. Elton John, for me, isn't the best choice for an audition. A little along the lines of a Frank Sinatra or an Elvis Presley. These are... They have a formula that works very well for them. And if you don't fit that formula, then you are going to struggle. If you haven't got the power behind it to really drive home, you're not going to fit the energy of Elton John, and that's the problem. The part that I feel is a little harsh is this is fine, but there isn't anything that you're showing me here that gets me excited about your voice, which is sometimes a problem. Like, someone can hit all the notes and they can be there and on point in the timing. Not the case here. Timing was an issue more than anything else. And they can show a bit of dynamic, but it can just not be very exciting sometimes, mainly down to song choice or something else. So something that would have been softer, where you could have shown a little dynamic and where you're not needing to blast your head voice the whole time. Even if you just added like a bottom end harmony into this, which it sounds like there's something in the background, but it's so low in the mix, I can't tell if that's you or if that was part of the backing track or what the deal is. It's, again, not very distinctive, which I think is my kind of overall feedback on this. It's a shame because I don't think... Yeah, this is part of the problem, because the round one was based on songs that the judges highlighted. A lot of these people I haven't heard the first time around, so I don't know what they're bringing to the table. I can't say, oh, yeah, maybe we should give them another chance because they've showed X in another round, which maybe tweaks my scoring a little bit. But, yeah, that's quite middle of the road for me. I think a better song choice would have allowed you to show off more of your assets. I guess if you'd tightened it up, if it didn't sound quite so nasal and you'd sorted out the timing and added a bit more dynamic, then you probably would have been pushing like a 6.5, something like that. So still not mind-blowing, but maybe enough to reach top 30.
Hello, my name is Phoenix Ryan, and I chose Andy, and this is Mimi's Delivery Service by Good Kid.
Why do I have to stay here on the ground? It's overrated. The cityscape escapes you with the sound. It's delineated. I waited at the station for an hour, but I won't make it. You take up on an updraft by the tower, and you overtake it. Every moon that I see you on the rise, you're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, tell you why. Oh, baby, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. I hear you tell me there's an issue you've seen before. Oh, baby, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. I hear you tell me there's an issue you've seen before. And I can't tell you why, no, I can't tell you why. Why do you have to stay here on the ground? It's overrated, the cityscape berates you with the sound. It's delineated and no one here has ever learned your name. But they all claim it, they saw you land and ran to do the same. But they won't make it. Every moon that I see you on the rise, you're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, and I can't tell you why. Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I see it clouding all around you. I hear you tell me there's an issue you've seen before. Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. I hear you tell me there's an issue you've seen before, and I can't tell you why.
Don't you come.
Let's go write the notes about it. Okay. Score 7. Very good performance, but there were issues that were basically around song choice. So you did the best that you could with it. Your intro was very, very rushed from the outset, which was interesting, very high energy. And then the song is much the same. I raise this a lot with K-pop, J-pop kind of stuff. This song is much the same in that there is so much going on. There are so many words in each phrase. It's very choppy. like, there's a voice in there. There's potential in there. But it just isn't well executed. This is a tough song in terms of timing, but anything that's kind of Western themed is a bit of a challenge timing wise. You are ahead of the beat a lot of the time. The little rush part in there was, again, tough, but in the context of the original, it fits. In this, it doesn't. I don't think you know the song or really the genre as a whole to be able to pull off the timing on this. It was a very tough one. You would have been better off with a straight 4/4 where you're sitting on the beat, I think. Because you're trying to float around it, but because you're in the wrong place a lot of the time, that just doesn't execute properly. And I think you're being pulled flat on a number of the phrases because you're just not in the right place. And if you're kind of rushing to hit your mark, but then also you're trying to execute properly, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. Your voice lacks the character of the original, but I do enjoy the tone a lot. And some of the harmonies are well executed. Right at the end as well, that last phrase with the vibrato is wonderful. I think this is someone that could have progressed and could have got a very good score that's been tripped up by choosing the wrong song. I think First Aid Kit, to be honest, was probably not a bad choice for you. I think you could have made that work, but something that is a little more straightforward would have been wonderful. Just out of interest, First Aid Kit, most streamed song on Spotify, My Silver Lining. Let's have a listen to this.
I don't want to wait anymore. I'm tired of looking for answers.
Oh, similar. Okay. Okay, maybe First Aid Kit wouldn't have been the best option, as they're all a little tricky timing-wise and the like. But in other news, I need to listen to First Aid Kit a bit more.
What a lovely night it is to walk a moonlit field, to see the softer shades that are by starlight now revealed. So why is it that now, when all is quiet and at rest, when candles glow and all the world is at its very best, the ponies of Equestria should lock themselves away to shun the moon and wait instead for brother sunny day? Am I so wrong to wish that they would see things like I do? And am I so wrong to think that they might love me too? Why shouldn't they adore me? Is it not within my right? I'll not be overshadowed, mine is not the lesser light. I've waited long enough now for them all to come around, and though the sun may plead and threaten, the moon will stand his ground. If it comes to this at last, I will no longer yield the sky. If they cannot love but one prince alone. See, the moon is rising. He has come to claim the heavens for his own. And all will know the wonder of my dark and jeweled sky when all the world is trapped in an eternal lullaby. So say goodnight to this, the final setting of the sun. Tomorrow dawns in darkness, the night time has...
Okay, so notes for this one. Score first, 5.5. So far too musical theatre and far too overperformed for me. Your breathing sounds like you're gasping. There's a few where it's like trying to take the air in. I know that kind of happens sometimes. You have to breathe, and sometimes it comes across on the microphone. But that's the kind of thing where you can just edit it out, drop the level, step back from the microphone a little bit so that it just kind of gets picked up by a noise gate or something like that. You can possibly take that out with a compressor. You could do something just to stop that from happening. And if you are taking big gulps like that, I think it does prove the point that you are maybe gunning it at times when you could step back a little bit. A few rush moments of timing in there. There is a good build of dynamic and energy at points, which you have an understanding of, but I think, again, song choice issue. If you pick something that's musical theatre, you are going to pigeonhole yourself quite a lot. Song choice is a lot of things. If you go K-pop, J-pop, it's going to put you in a direction. If you go musical theatre, it's going to put you in a direction. And while everything sends you in a certain direction, if you're taking something which veers you massively one way or the other, then that's a bit of a problem. And this is just a general thing. The way that this competition tends to go, even though the rounds have different themes and that sort of thing, it tends to follow quite a mainstream kind of vibe. We've had, for example, opera singers go quite far, but they've had to show some realm of versatility to make that work. I've tried to make a rap voice work. Hasn't. I've been shouted down on that, and can a rapper win a singing competition? Well, no. Unless they do some fairly heavy lifting with their singing as well. It's just difficult. Can you win as a K-pop or a J-pop artist? Not really. Hooni's done it, but Hooni is far more versatile than that, or is at least able to show he was more versatile than that. So yeah, I think this limits you a little bit. Again, if you go musical theatre, you are sometimes pushed into being a little more head voicey and a little more nasal than needs be. I have always been quite critical of people that overperform, oversing, turn it up to 11, and maybe cause their technical side of things to suffer, or just not giving us enough variety, which I think is the problem here. There is some variety, clearly, but we're also being smashed by a big performance. So a bit like a few of the other musical theatre kind of levels, you're sitting at a similar score to those guys at a 5.5.
I hold your hand in mine, dear. I press it to my lips. I take a healthy bite from your dainty fingertips. My joy would be complete, dear, if you were only here. But still I keep your hand as a precious souvenir. The night you died, I cut it off. I really don't know why. For now, each time I kiss it, I get blood stains on my tongue. I'm sorry now I killed you.
Okay, audition is a little short. I worry about your versatility as you stay completely in head voice. This is another... Is it a contentious one? Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing as Moonjar. I'm going to put this in as 6 with an asterisk next to it. So I enjoy this voice a lot. It's very vintage sounding, and then the production that goes with it puts you into the same vibe. It feels very much like a speakeasy Prohibition era kind of song. Wonderfully airy, and the fluttery reverb is excellent, but the audition is a little short. There were attempts to kind of build dynamic and energy and power in it, but because you are so heavily up in head voice, that doesn't really come along or come across. And because of that as well, I worry about your versatility. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoyed that a lot, but it is a very limited but very unique audition, and I think I need to score it accordingly. A bit like Phoenix Ryan, who got a 7, he was able to show us more from his voice than this one was. But again, the song choice held him back, and I think this is the problem here. You are both leaving multiple points on the table by choosing something that really forces you in one particular direction, one particular style. And then there isn't a whole lot more I can really take from that. I would love to hear more. I'm intrigued, but that doesn't mean I can add points on and give you a top 30 score right off the rip.
Football team. The neighbor's brother came home in a box, but he wanted to go, so maybe it was his fault. Another red heart taken by the American dream. And I feel you there in the middle of the night when the lights go out and I'm all alone again. Say what you want, but say it like you mean it with your fists for once. A long cold war with the kids at the front. Just give it one more day, then you're done. I do what I want, crying in the bleachers, and they said it was fun. I don't need anything from anyone. It's just not my year, but I'm all good out here.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Just out of interest, this reminds me of I think it's Lady Antebellum. Just going to listen to that quickly, make sure it's the one I'm thinking of, and then we'll listen to the original because I don't know it.
It's 1:15. I'm all alone and I need you now.
Yeah, Lady Antebellum, I thought it was. But that gives me a very similar kind of vibe. So, American Teenager. Let's get the original up. I feel like I'm going to be listening to this song quite a lot from this point on.
So maybe it was his fault. Another red heart taken by the American dream. And I feel you there in the middle of the night when the lights go out and I'm all alone. Say what you want, but say it like you mean it with your fists for once. A long cold war with your kids in the front.
Okay, yeah, this is... Gotta go back again. This is a little bit of a shame, actually.
Grew up under yellow light on the street, putting too much faith in the make-believe and another high school football team. The neighbor's brother came home in a box, but he wanted to go, so maybe it was his fault. Another red heart taken by the American dream. And I feel you there in the middle of the night when the lights go out and I'm all alone again. Say what you want, but say it like you mean it with your fists for once. A long cold war with the kids in the front. Just give it one more day, then you're done. I do what I want, crying in the bleachers, and I said it was fun. I don't need anything from anyone. It's just not my year, but I'm all good out here.
Okay, yeah, that's a little bit of a shame because I'm a bit of a fan of like reverb and slowed covers of stuff and versions of stuff, and the big ethereal parts. There's another one that I'm thinking of from the film Drive, a song called Real Hero, which has kind of similar vibes, and when it's ethereal parts like this one done well, it gets the hairs on my arms standing up on end right away, and I had that effect with this one. The sustain in the warm-up is incredible, but at times the timing goes a little rushed, and I think you need to do some work on your breath support. Your voice sounds a little unsupported at times, and the difference between this when it went big and the original when it went big is with the original it builds and there is a real difference in the dynamic, and the volume sort of goes up as the note sustains, which is something I think it was Moonjo. Was it Moonjo? Dynamic mid-phrase is effective. Yeah, exactly. So that's present in the original, but it's not here because you don't quite have that breath support. The choice of the song American Teenager makes me suggest that maybe you are a teenager, and I don't want to go and say use the word immature for your voice, but it does come across that way a little bit because of the lack of support behind the notes sometimes. So bits of this you did really, really well. Bits of this I think could use some improvement, but I really enjoyed the emotion of it. Like, this one got me. So fair play on that. I'm going to have to asterisk this score because if I emotionally connect to a cover, even though there's issues with the technicals, then sometimes that can make me overscore. And when I'd be judging this for real, I would probably do this over a period of several days and go back and listen again, and maybe a different time with a maybe if I had a bad day or something like that, this would hit me more than it might do at other times. I'm going to give it a 6.5 because there were more problems with it than Phoenix Ryan's, for example, that we've listened to in this episode, which got 7. But there is immense potential here, and I think being able to show some of that harmony work, that could be super powerful in some of the later rounds. And execution of harmonies is something that I've picked up on a number of times. Like, that could be used better, that could have been produced better, that could have been mixed better, for example. That is maybe a little jarring how it's been used. This is not jarring. This is the kind of... These harmonies that came into this reminds me of some of the work that Emma did a couple of seasons ago as the winner. So if we can keep that going, but get some more breath support and some more push from the diaphragm on the lead line parts and show some real power and get that developing, we've got someone with the potential to go to the final here. But that's a tough ask as to whether they can actually make that work in the time, especially when there are so many sort of contestants that need to drop from this round. You can't really have a freebie.
Day that I met you, the world had just spun me out. On my way to the bottom, sure I'd never be found. Then you saw me for me, made me believe in myself. On the day that I met you, it all turned around. You said close your eyes, don't look down. Fall into me and I'll catch you, darling. We'll dance in the street like nobody's watching. It's just you and me, and the song on repeat in my head, playing over and over. I'm drunk on your voice, high on the moment. I'd fall for you twice. If that's what you wanted, I'd give you my life. From now till forever, I'm falling in love with you over and over again. Fall into me and I'll catch you, darling. We'll dance in the street like nobody's watching. It's just you and me, and the song on repeat in our heads, playing over and over again.
Okay, song choice questions. Song choice questions to be had with this one. So, lots of nasality from the start. The ends of phrases are relatively unsupported, and when we kick into the high part, impressive range to be able to get up there, but it sounds like you can't hold yourself up there. It's like if you're trying to do pull-ups from the bar, and you can get your feet off the floor and you can hang for a little while, but you can't actually execute the pull-up. So, yeah, I think that is. I think you have a range, and I think you are trying to sing out of it, which is not ideal by any stretch. You're trying to add the dynamic with the soft whispery parts at the end, but really you're going too soft on those parts, and you're not giving yourself enough room to go up, because you're always reaching for higher and higher notes. So for me, I would look at lower parts and go from there. I think you've got a bit of discovering what your true voice is than anything else. So this is a problem that I have had in a way, in a very different kind of way. But when I was younger, I used to sing solos in the school choir and the like, and then my voice broke. And that super high register that I had, and that range that I had, disappeared. And that probably happened, I don't know, we must be talking 15 to 20 years ago. But now, if I'm listening and singing along to something, and say it's a male and female duet, I will still, by instinct almost, try and sing the high part, even though I would be much more comfortable in the low part, in the sort of baritone range. And that's just kind of old habits and hanging on to what my voice used to be, I guess. And because I'm not trying to win singing competitions or trying to get involved in music as a singer, I'm thinking more along the lines of like production would be something I'd quite like to do on a regular basis, and I'm doing bits of DJing and that sort of thing. So I can afford to be stubborn and just stick to that and not focus on where my strengths are. With this, if you want to make a bit of a career out of it, then find your strengths first, because this just doesn't feel like that's it, to be honest. I could be wrong, of course, because I don't think I heard an entry from Sky in the first. I did hear an entry from Sky, and it was a no and a 2.5. Okay, interesting.
Your velvet blade of a perfume is crushed so bittersweet, and I could have died by the side.
Okay, I'm just going to listen to the original on this, and then we can go back. Strikes me as a wrong song choice again.
Silence of a dream within a dream. You fill my soul with beauty on my shining man machine. Was sinking in the roses, falling down to fade away. Your velvet blade of apathy makes the crush so bittersweet. And I could have died last night, but I heard the voice of a smaller God, and I could have died last night, but I heard the voice of a smaller God.
Okay, so the original sounds like a vocalist that doesn't actually have the power to carry off the kind of song that they're trying to deliver, but it does work in a way. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but sometimes you come across a singer that stylistically they're very kind of slouchy and lazy, and every now and then that does work. It does work with this one, but doesn't make it a great audition song, I don't think. You would either have to absolutely nail the energy and deliver a really good cover, which is tough unless you have that same uniqueness to your voice, or you would have to add the power that isn't there and give it a completely different take and lift the whole thing. I mean, both would work. I would certainly give it a plus for that, but I don't think either really... Well, option 2 would showcase your voice better, I think, but we'll see. Let's listen to this cover.
Bittersweet, and I could have died last night, but I heard the voice of a smaller God. I could have died last night, but I heard the voice of a smaller Your presence is the morning, your absence is the night. I'm searching your dark hallways and I'm trying to find your light. Swimming in your sad oceans, I'm drowning in your sea. Yeah, this will all be over soon if we learn to live again. And I could have died last night, but I heard the voice of a smaller God. I could have died last night, but I heard the voice of a smaller God. And infinite stars, I see your eyes. I hear you speak to me. I miss you now so much it takes. So broken, so
Okay, so I'm glad I listened to the original first on that, as it's actually given me a better view of this cover. The sustain is incredible. Like that. My point about the song choice remains. If you show something that gives you a bit more variety and you show that level of sustain on that, huge plus. But great work adding a bit of character to your voice, a la the original singer in the part. A few spots where your timing seems to wander, only one or two. In the airy part, that's a nice change of energy and a nice change in dynamic. There was one flat note in there that I picked up. A couple of your big sustained phrases right at the end, it kind of... Instead of tailing off cleanly, you kind of fall off it like an oh. And that last run was a little wobbly with the pitch, which is a shame. So the big finish, and it didn't quite come. It's like you didn't quite have the breath support behind it, which, considering the sustain you're pulling off, that's clearly there and clearly in the locker, but maybe it was a one-take thing. You didn't quite execute it on that occasion. I probably would have scored this a couple of points lower had I not heard the original, but I mean, to be honest, as far as execution, this is a strong one for me. Tough. Another asterisk, because I'm wavering a bit here, because I look at Phoenix's and he did a good job with a with a tough song choice. He maybe didn't show quite as much as you did in terms of singing technique, but this one had a few more issues with it. And like, song choice has to be a factor in it. I'm wavering between 6.5, 7 and 7.5, but considering I've got a 6.5 for Shiyu, and there was issues with timing and an unsupported voice, I think I can rule out 6.5. So it's like 7 or 7.5. Softer parts, 2 nasal, 1 for use of dynamic, 1 or 2 ends, excellent transition into head voice. 7. Let's go 7. I'll put the asterisk next to it. I can always come back, because what a 7.5. So the Karen Carpenter fluttery vibrato. Bernadette got a 7. Enjoy the subtle use of harmonies. That was a 7, but issues with... I remember that one. Yeah. Okay. 7. I'm comfortable with a 7.
Hey guys, this is Ty. I'll be singing a song called Nothing Else. It's a gospel/inspirational song. I truly struggled with picking a song for this theme. I asked for advice and suggestions from multiple people and finally landed on this song. This song is special to me because it's the song that I listen to when I need inspiring. So I hope you enjoy. I'm caught up in your presence. God, I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. No, I'm not here for blessing. 'Cause Jesus, you don't owe me anything. It's more than anything that you can do. God, I just want you. Well, I'm sorry when I've gone through the motions. I'm sorry when I sing another song. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. And I'm sorry when I've come with my agenda. I'm sorry when I've forgotten you're enough. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment.
Okay. Score. Tied top score so far. 8 for me. So, couple of issues. So, a few of the phrases, especially in that soft part at the beginning. So, one of them, for example, came out as present when you meant presence. And I think another one was feet that just kind of didn't actually complete. So, especially when you are soft and you are minimal, you need to make sure that you are clearly getting out every word and every phrase, because it stands out so much more when there is very little else going on. Incredible warmth, and then there are moments of lightness in with that warmth where you just soften it up in the middle of a phrase. very well executed. And then the transition to falsetto and to head voice, wonderful, smooth, very distinctive, and helps with the emotional connection. So a couple of things to add in that would have been bumping me from an 8 into the 9s and above. I would have loved a big building part, like your build and your big impact was a falsetto, which works quite well, but there was no, I guess, either, it doesn't have to be a big belty part, but something like the traditional sort of R&B run would have been great. Something like that. Would also have loved to have a bit more work on an extra line, a harmony, or a low sort of bassy part. Just something else to flesh this out a bit more and show us some more of what your voice is capable of. That's probably where a couple of extra points would have come from, along with the diction and making sure that every phrase is clean. You did get another chance to throw presence in, and you absolutely nailed that one on later on in the phrase. You can do it, but like I say, if you are mispronouncing and it's minimal and it's soft and it's only really you with a light sort of piano backing or something like that, it is very, very noticeable when you miss stuff like that. Okay, so we had some strong scores in there. I've got a few asterisks, a few that I may need to think about being on the bubble of my top 30 when we get to that point. And yeah, again, I felt like I went through some of these quite quickly, and we are still quite comfortably over an hour. So it just takes time. It takes time to do this stuff properly, and that's something I noticed as a judge. It's a big, big time commitment, and you're at this for the best part of a year. It can be full on. But it's okay. It's good fun. I'm enjoying the process, and hopefully you guys are enjoying seeing me get into the weeds a bit more with this stuff. If you're watching on Twitch, please follow me. If you're on YouTube, please throw me a subscribe. That would be great. I would love some comments as well, hear what you guys are thinking, what you agree with on my scores, what you would change. And I will catch you very soon for the next one.